For thousands of years, humans traded directly. You had grain, your neighbor had cloth, and you swapped. But bartering only worked if both people wanted what the other had. If you needed salt but only had chickens, and the salt seller wanted tools, you were stuck. Trade was slow, clunky, and limited. Then someone had an idea. Instead of trading things, what if we agreed on symbols that represented value? Shells, beads, and eventually metal coins became the stand-in. A coin was valuable because everyone agreed it was. Suddenly, you could trade anything with anyone. Exchange became fluid. Markets exploded. Cities grew. Civilizations expanded. Once people had money, they faced a new problem: where to keep it safe. Temples and goldsmiths became the solution. People started leaving their coins with them for safekeeping. In return, they received a receipt. Over time, people just traded the receipts. The paper itself became money. Then goldsmiths started lending the gold out, charging interest. They created more receipts than they had gold. Banks didn't just store wealth. They discovered money could multiply. Empires needed resources. Armies, roads, and public works all cost money. So rulers created a mandatory system: taxation. Every citizen had to give a portion of their harvest, income, or labor to the state. Taxation built civilizations by pooling individual effort into collective power. But it also created a permanent tension between the people and the state. For centuries, making things took time and human hands. Then, machines changed everything. The Industrial Revolution allowed for mass production. Goods became cheap and abundant. But this prosperity came at a cost. Factory workers labored in dangerous conditions for minimal pay. Wealth concentrated in the hands of a few. By the 1800s, international trade was chaos because no one trusted anyone else's paper money. Then, Britain made a promise. Every pound would be backed by gold. Other nations followed. The gold standard stabilized exchange rates and boosted global commerce. But it also meant governments couldn't print money to fight recessions. Economic flexibility vanished. The 1920s felt like endless prosperity. But it was built on borrowed money and inflated confidence. In 1929, the stock market collapsed. Banks failed. Businesses closed. Unemployment exploded. The Great Depression revealed that much of the wealth was just collective imagination. In the early 2000s, banks gave out risky mortgages, bundled them into complex financial products, and sold them to investors. The entire system was built on the assumption that housing prices would never fall. They did. The 2008 financial crisis showed that the financial system had become a casino where banks gambled with borrowed money. When they lost, everyone else paid the price. After 2008, trust in banks shattered. In 2009, Bitcoin was created, a digital currency with no central authority. It offered a way to send money without banks or governments. But instead of replacing money, it became a speculative investment. Bitcoin asked if we still need banks, but it also showed that even revolutionary technology can't escape our desire to get rich quick. In 2020, the world shut down. Governments responded with the largest financial intervention in history, printing trillions of dollars. This saved the economy from collapse, but it also led to surging inflation. The pandemic proved governments could create money instantly to prevent disaster. But it also taught a harsh lesson. Printing currency doesn't create value. It just redistributes it. The economy was saved by borrowing from the future, and the bill arrived as inflation nobody could escape.